Okay, we're going to begin here on Canvas, and this is what looks like a student version of Canvas, hopefully. And you would go over here and click on Packback. Now, initially it's going to tell me I've never used Packback. They want you to enter your email address, a password, and create an account. I don't need to do that because I've already got an account set up. So I go back here, I get out of student view, and let's try getting into Packbook again. So here we've arrived in Packback, and you'll notice it's got three types of things. It's got discussion assignments, writing assignments, and polls. Now, we will talk about writing assignments later when it's closer to when they're due. What we're going to be looking at to start with is discussion assignments. Okay, so discussion 1. We click on it, and we have here, first of all, a question or topic set up by me in what they call the guidepost. And you can look at the whole thing by clicking on preview, so that'll show you the whole thing to look at. What does history mean to you, and so forth in this particular case. Then it's time for you to input your opinions. So you click on Ask a New Question, and here you ask a new question. And what you're aiming for is to get a curiosity score that's close to 70. Okay? A curiosity score is a measure of the curiosity, credibility, communication, and convention use of a discussion post. Okay, so if it's 0 to 30 points, that's not so great. 31 to 70 points, decent. And 71 to 100 points, quite good. And it's calculated basically through does your question invite open-ended discussion? Does it show that you've put effort into it? Credibility. And that looks if you've included citations to support your claims, as well as the credibility of your cited sources. I don't require you to to include citations, except for you can cite the textbook. Communication measures how easy your post is to read and understand, and does it engage your readers? And then convention finally just looks at the formal accuracy of your writing. Do you have grammatical errors, spelling errors, and style errors? And how can you improve your score with instant feedback? The feedback that you're going to see on your right-hand side of the screen can tell you exactly what's going on and how they're rating your question and description as you write them. So here you would write a question. Okay, so my question is, how can history help us to understand the racial divisions in our society? So that's where we start with as our question. Then I would go down and add a description to the question. And the idea of the description is to tell why you asked that question, what about it makes it interesting to you, and also how this fits into the larger question. And finally, how does this connect back to the class? So any of those topics can do. You don't have to answer your question, You just need to explain why you asked that question and why that question is significant. So, for example, here I could say, as an HBCU professor, I have been confronted. Anyways, it would go on from there. And so that would be me writing about why I might ask that question. And then you would see your feedback over here on the right-hand side. When you're done, you click Submit Post. Okay, we're not going to click Submit Post because this is just a practice. Instead, we're going to leave the page and go look at the postings that have been made by other students. And so you look down through these questions that other students have asked, and you decide, is this a good question? Is this something I want to answer? I want to write about? And so you pick any of these questions, 2 of them, that seem the most engaging and interesting to you, and you write your answers. Okay, and so this is the questions that you go through, and you decide which one do you find the most interesting, and those 2 questions that you find interesting, you answer, making your own comments. So here we decide we want to answer this one. We click Add Response, and then we click Post Response. And then here you have your title where you summarize what's your thesis, what's the central idea of your response to it, and then you explain the defense for your response. What's the evidence that you have to support your idea? Okay, and once again, they want you to add sources, but here, once again, the major source you're going to want to be drawing on is the textbook.